everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Hot Seat. I'm your host, Marie Wiese. This is the podcast dedicated to asking the tough questions of Microsoft partners about what's going on in their practice, what's going on in the world of Microsoft. And today I am particularly excited to have a very nice guy. A great guy. I've known Jeff Ney for a while, and Jeff is the president of New Dynamic, a Microsoft channel partner based in Kansas City. He and I don't see eye to eye on football, but I don't hold that against him. And I have him on the show today because we were both fortunate enough to attend BizApp Summit and hear about now AI business solutions, what Microsoft is doing. So I wanted to get right into it. And there's a pressing question that I have that I know a lot of Microsoft partners who weren't able to be part of that session are asking. And Microsoft is very focused right now on what they're calling mainstreaming AI CRM, mainstreaming AI ERP implementations. And since this is your area of expertise, Jeff, I thought what better person than to have you on the show to say, what the heck does it mean to mainstream an AI CRM implementation or mainstreaming with AI? What did you take away from that, and what does it mean to you?
Well, for anybody that was present, we certainly received the message loud and clear on the focus on AI, pre-built agents going into Microsoft's new fiscal year, that's for sure. When you mention mainstreaming AI into CRM, what I think about is CRM has definitely evolved to a new level just here real recently. So you think about legacy CRM systems. At the end of the day, what they were really, they still, regardless of how sophisticated they got, legacy CRM pre-AI, the introduction of AI, still required a lot of manual data entry, and the focus was more on reporting of data as opposed to today's agentic CRM systems, right, that incorporate AI. They're more focused on putting tools and putting abilities in front of sellers, marketers, service teams that allow them to succeed in real time. You're talking about, generation of content, surfacing insights for sellers, summarizing customer interactions is a big one. That is such a time saver for regular day-to-day CRM users, and just the automation of repetitive tasks. Those are now expected when you're talking to a client about implementing a CRM solution, enhancing their existing CRM solution. A year ago, there was a lot of talk out there about AI, but not necessarily with the customers as much, right? Today, that's not the case. Today, customers are asking for this.
So you know what, and we've been talking about this. You and I together have been to a lot of different events together. We've discussed this in your own practice and what's happening. I think what's really interesting right now is, to your point, there's a lot of chatter last year. I ran a lot of co-pilot briefings, and I think the focus was on selling licenses. What I've seen from a lot of sales teams and a lot of sales people is they're using some kind of recording agent to help them capture a conversation, capture a solution that they might want to offer, speed up that whole process. Because I'll tell you, I've been in sales for a long time, as I know you have too. What is the thing we hate the most? The thing we hate the most is having to put information into the CRM, right? It's time consuming. It doesn't seem like high value work. Sometimes we have a CRM administrator, sometimes we have a sales administrator, and it just feels like busy work. And I think
it also doesn't feel like something that's going to benefit us as an individual. If I'm a seller for a company, it feels more like it's a big brother watching me, and I have to show that I have activity.
Exactly.
And that's not motivating. So, yeah, it's hard to get yourself to enter those notes.
Not to mention, I'm of a certain generation. I'm a little bit old school about this type of stuff, is that you're also getting online and you're recording everything you're saying. I think that's another place where people mentally have really suffered the impact of AI. I remember, when the pandemic hit and everybody was going on camera, and I remember that being a big thing for me. And then suddenly now everything's getting recorded. But what I've noticed and what I've seen, and I'm curious to know, what your take is on this, is what we haven't factored in as the tools are starting to get rolled out and used is the learning that the tool's actually doing. And it's starting to do things that I didn't realize it would do. So now I'm getting prompted after a call to ask all these other questions of Copilot in order to start to enhance the solution I might be bringing to the customer, enhance what I might be putting into it. Where do you think the next wave of what's happening in CRM and AI is going? Yes, it's fine to improve efficiency as a step one. What's the next step, in your opinion?
I think the next step is, and if you look about, if you've read or heard people speak about kind of the different levels of AI transformation, it starts with humans still doing the work, but having agents assist them. It goes from there to humans leading agents. So I think the next step is sitting back and let the agents operate for you, right? And it's just kind of
Right.
human directed. And that's the beauty of incorporating AI into your solutions, and something that we need to continuously remind our clients is that these agents, these co-pilots we're building, they learn as they go. They get better with
Right,
time.
right. And I think that was my biggest eye opener. Now,
Yeah.
tell me, in your experience, and I know you've been doing this for a while, what is the number one challenge when you're doing a CRM implementation, and how do you think AI is going to close the gap or make that easier?
Well, anyone involved in CRM would probably, I'm guessing, would answer this the same way, but adoption. Like that is the key to CRM. More so, in my opinion, more so than any other type of solution, because that's how you measure success. You have others that you can apply KPIs. If you implement an ERP system, there's a smaller group of people typically using it, and you can measure success on how many. Did you improve your days to close? Are transactions happening in a more efficient way with less manual interaction? CRM, you just measure it on, are people using it? Are people embracing the system and doing what you expect it to do? And the other downside of that is, if they're not, companies are quick to blame the software,
Right,
pull it out altogether, make a change, and they can be kind of
right.
fickle about that. So adoption is the big key. And yeah, I mean, AI could play several roles in improving adoption. One is just like we're talking about, by making the end users, we're talking sellers, marketing teams, customer service teams, just by making their jobs easier, improves adoption,
Right.
right? Putting tools in place that provide real time guidance, providing suggestions, help doing things like analyzing pipelines and incorporating AI into calculating probability on closure of an opportunity, things like that. That's where the users, the people on the front lines that you really want using CRM, that's when they realize this is a tool that's making my job easier and is going to help me
Right.
succeed.
Right.
And I think AI it plays a critical role in that.
Isn't it ironic that the number one challenge is really about human beings and human nature,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fear, or inability to change? I found that fascinating from a human perspective, a psychological perspective. And I'm guilty of being somebody who always hated putting information into the CRM. And I've been around CRM systems for years and years and years. When CRMs used to cost $3 million in 3 years to implement, and were messy and horrible, and you still couldn't pull good data out of it. I think I'm excited about the future using AI, and I'm excited about the places where, as a human being, I can embrace it. What would be your number one recommendation, though, to an end customer about how you lead them on that journey of overcoming fear and really agreeing to change? And I get kind of yelled at by my team on a pretty regular basis when I'm not, working in an online document that's shared and I'm making changes offline, or I'm doing something like, I've now had to become very open to it. not
Yeah.
everyone can do that. What would your number one recommendation to
I,
a customer be
I
around
think
that?
it's finding something to introduce AI just to get your foot in the water, take a small step.
Right.
Because the truth is, not all companies are ready to dive in, right? You've got data implications that you have to think about. We've had to help some clients with that had a great idea, wanted to do something, and it's like, well, you know, you want to point this at a data source that you could be one of those, horror stories you hear about where you've inadvertently exposed sensitive data to where, to people that shouldn't be seeing it. But find something that will just a quick win, and start to incorporate it. And what I think as time goes on too, you'll learn that more and more of the members of your team are using AI in their regular daily lives anyway. This isn't a foreign.
Right.
This is going to become less and less of a foreign concept,
Right.
and they'll be clamoring to be able to do it more in their job. So just find those opportunities and get started.
And what I would say as a sales and marketing professional, my team pushed me really hard about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. We started dabbling with AI. And my other recommendation, and I'm sure you would agree with me, is don't keep waiting. The waiting time's over.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got to jump in right now. And even if
yep,
it's just one thing that you do, like summarizing notes, doing next steps, running that information across the CRM so that people have access to understand where a particular prospect or customer is going with the next step in their implementation of something. You really want to be able to share that knowledge in real time, and I think that's what we mean by the real time piece.
yep,
And
yep.
I think that's really where it's heading. Jeff, I always love talking to you. You always have incredible insight. I know that you're going to be joining me and a lot of other people at Summit in October.
Yes.
For listeners of the podcast, if you use the coupon code HOTSEAT10, you can get a discount to a Summit ticket if you want to come to Summit, hear experts, and meet experts like Jeff who are out talking about really important issues related to CRM, related to AI in CRM. It's a great opportunity to network. I know you're going to be there. You're going to be hosting some of your customers.
Yep.
And I highly recommend you show up because this is a way to not just be able to talk to people face to face, but you get to actually in a casual way say to the customer end user, hey, how are you solving this problem? And I think that's the power of attending events like Summit. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I know we've got
Likewise.
some stuff planned, and October's not that far away. So thank you so much for being on the hot seat. We'll put in the show notes how you can get in touch with Jeff if you want to talk more about CRM. And as always, I love the fact that you rise to the occasion when I say, okay, I got a tough question for you, Jeff. Tell me how you're going to do this. And you always are very thoughtful, and you don't just come right out with an off the cuff answer. You think about it. You think back to how your customers are doing things. And I think in an era of agentic AI, AI business solutions, as Microsoft is calling it now and moving forward, yeah, we can go find an answer really quickly, but let's really think through the prompt, how we want to approach it, what that thoughtfulness that human beings still bring to the table, and I'm sure your
Absolutely.
customers are grateful for it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Marie. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here with you, and likewise, look forward to seeing you at Summit.
You've been listening to another episode of The Hot Seat. I'm your host, Marie Wiese, and today my guest was Jeff Ney, President of New Dynamic, and we will see you in the hot seat very soon. Thanks for listening.